In this video lecture, we will be covering the basics of DC generator and DC motor. We will look into the details of the construction of a DC machine, then the detailed working principles of DC generator and DC motor. We also look into the procedure of how to reverse the rotation of a DC motor. Direct current machines or DC machines are of two types: DC generators, DC motors. DC generators operate in generating mode. DC motors operate in motoring mode. Let us understand the difference between generator and motor. Here we have a DC machine. We give mechanical input by rotating the shaft with a prime mover. From the machine terminals, we get the electrical output. In this case, mechanical energy is transformed into electrical energy. Coming to the motor, we have again a DC machine. We give electrical input to the machine terminals. We get mechanical output at the shaft. In this case, the electrical energy is transformed into mechanical energy. Let us look into the main parts of a DC machine. In the first figure, this is the yoke. We have two field cores, armature with its conductors. This is a two-pole DC machine. In the second figure, this is the yoke. We have four field cores, armature with conductors. This is a four-pole DC machine. We will know about the field winding. In the first figure, you have two field cores. Start winding a coil around the first field core. It is wound from back to front. Around the second field core, wind another field coil. It is also wound from back to front. Connect the two field coils in series. The two field coils in series form the field winding of a two-pole DC machine. In the second figure, start winding the coil around one field core. Continue it around the second field core. Continue around the third and fourth. Observe the winding directions of all the field coils. The four field coils in series form the field winding of a four-pole DC machine. We will see the flow of field current in these figures. In the first figure, let us connect a separate source to the field winding. The current comes from the source. It flows through the first field coil, continues in the second field coil. Observe the direction of the currents in the field coils. Coming to the second figure, here also we connect a separate source. The current coming from the source flows through the first field coil, continues in the second, third, and through the fourth field coil. Let us see how the flux lines are produced from the poles. You are seeing in the figure the directions of the currents in the two field coils. Apply the right hand grip rule to the first field coil. Show the four fingers in the current's direction. The thumb is directed towards right. So the field lines will be produced in the direction towards right. Apply the right hand grip rule in the similar way to the second field coil. The thumb is directed towards right, so the field lines will be towards right. We know the field lines are all closed lines. The field lines pass through the yoke and form the closed paths. Observe now, from the first field coil, the flux lines are coming out. So the field pole through which the field lines are coming out will be formed as the north pole. The second field pole is a south pole because flux lines are entering into the face of this field pole. We will see how field lines are produced in the case of a 4-pole machine. Apply the right hand grip rule to the first field coil. Show the 4 fingers of the right hand grip in the current's direction. The thumb gives you the field line's direction. It is towards right. Apply to the second field coil. The thumb is downwards, so the field lines will be downwards. Let us apply to the third field coil. The thumb is upwards, so the field lines will be in the upward direction. Apply it to the fourth field coil, showing the fingers in the current's direction. The thumb is towards left, so field lines will be towards left. Field lines are all closed lines. If you observe the bottom left side, the field lines flow through the yoke and form the closed paths. Observe now the bottom right side. The field lines form the closed paths by flowing through the yoke. The top right side, you can see the passage of the flux lines through the yoke forming the closed paths. Now I can observe the top left side, the flux lines are forming the closed paths. As the flux lines are coming out from the first field pole, it will be formed as the north pole. This will be formed as the south pole because the flux lines are going into the pole face. The third one will be the north pole because flux lines are coming out from the pole face of this pole. The last one will be the south pole because flux lines are entering into the pole face. You are now seeing the armature conductors in the armature. The flux is falling on the armature conductors from the 4 field poles. When the armature is rotated, its conductors cut the field lines and voltage is generated. Let us understand the generator principle for a case where the conductor is moving up in the magnetic field. We have N and S poles between which the magnetic field lines are oriented towards right. Place a conductor in the magnetic field and move it upwards. While moving up, the voltage is generated in the conductor and current flows. To know the direction of the current, apply the Fleming's right-hand rule. Show the first finger in the field direction towards right, the movement upwards by means of the thumb. The second finger is oriented towards inside will give you the current direction. So the current in the conductor flows towards inside. In agreement with this current supplied by the conductor, the generated voltage will have positive and negative terminals as shown. Let us understand the same by means of another figure. The field is oriented towards right. Conductor's cross section is shown here now. Move the conductor upwards. In order to know the current direction in the conductor, let us apply the Fleming's right-hand rule. Here again, the first finger in the field direction, thumb in the movement direction, the current is shown towards inside. If you treat this current towards inside as an arrow going inside, you will be seeing the tail of the arrow like a cross. So the current going inside the conductor is indicated by a cross. Let us understand the generator principle. When the conductor is moving down, we have N and S poles, magnetic field towards right. Conductor is placed in the magnetic field and is moved down. While moving down, the voltage is generated in the conductor and current is applied. In order to know the current direction, apply the Fleming's right-hand rule. Show the thumb downwards in the force direction, the first finger in the magnetic field direction towards right. The second finger shows the current coming towards outside. So the generated current will flow in the conductor towards outside. In agreement with this supplied current, the generated voltage will have the polarity as shown in the figure. Let us understand the same concept by means of another figure. We have the field towards right side. Conductor's cross section is shown now, kept in the magnetic field. Move it downwards. Apply again the right hand rule. For this movement, thumb is shown downward in the force direction, the first finger in the field direction towards right. The second finger shows the current coming outward from the conductor. If you treat this outward current by means of an arrow coming outwards, you can see the tip of the arrow like a dot. So the current in the conductor will be shown by a dot which indicates the current is coming outwards. We will understand the generator principle when a single turn armature is kept in the magnetic field. Two conductors forming one turn is shown in the figure. You can see the axis of the turn. Around this axis, if you rotate the armature clockwise, the left side conductor will move upwards, the right side conductor will move downwards. Apply the Fleming's right hand rule to the left side conductor. Show the first finger of the right hand in the magnetic field direction, the movement by the thumb upwards, the second finger which is oriented towards the inside will show the current direction. In order to generate the current in this direction, the voltage polarity will be as shown. Apply the right hand rule to the right side conductor. The movement is downwards, shown by the thumb. The first finger is shown in the field direction. The second finger is towards outside, so the current produced will be outwards. In agreement with this outward current, the voltage polarity will be as shown. At the ends of the turn, the polarity of the voltage will be now as shown. We need to connect the load in order to pass the current through this load. But this load cannot be connected to a rotating armature. We need a mechanism to connect this stationary load to the rotating armature. We will understand this in the next slide. We will understand the commutator and brush mechanism to connect the stationary load to the rotating armature. Two commutator segments are shown connected to the armature. Two brushes slide on the segments. The load is connected to the brushes. The polarity of the brushes are shown in the figure. Now from the positive brush, the current comes and flows through the load. You can see in this figure the commutator and brush mechanism. For a better understanding, you can observe when the commutator rotates, the brushes slide over the commutator. This figure shows the armature rotating clockwise. You can see in this animation the real armature along with the commutator rotating in the clockwise direction. You can understand the load connection to the armature through the brushes and commutator from these two figures. These are the two brushes which you can see. The brushes are sliding over the commutator and collect the current from the commutator. We will understand the DC motor principle. When a current carrying conductor is placed in a magnetic field, a force will be acted on it, thereby it gets movement. Here you have the magnetic field in the air gap between two north and south poles. A conductor is placed, current is passed into the conductor. The direction of movement of the conductor depends upon the direction of current which has been passed. For this direction of current, the movement is downwards. In order to know the movement direction, the Fleming's left-hand three fingers rule is used. Let us understand the Fleming's left-hand rule for the motor principle. We have the magnetic field in which a conductor is placed. Pass the current flowing towards inside. Because of this current carrying conductor placed in a magnetic field, a force will be acted on the conductor. In order to know the force direction, apply the Fleming's left-hand rule. The forefinger is shown in the field direction. The middle finger is shown in the current direction toward inside. The thumb is oriented downwards. The thumb shows the force direction. As the thumb is downwards, the force acted on the conductor is downwards. Because of this force, the conductor moves down. Let us understand the same by means of another figure. Here again the magnetic field lines are shown towards right. The conductor cross section is shown now. Pass the current flowing inside. The current flowing inside can be viewed as an arrow going inside. You can see the tail of the arrow by means of a cross. When you apply the Fleming's left-hand rule, the force acted on the conductor is shown by the thumb downwards. So the force is downwards. Because of this, the conductor moves down. Let us understand the Fleming's left-hand rule when the current in the conductor is passed outwards. We have the magnetic field whose lines are towards right. Place a conductor, pass the current flowing outwards. Because of this current carrying conductor placed in the magnetic field, a force will be acted on the conductor. To know the force direction, apply Fleming's left-hand rule. The first finger is shown in the field direction towards right. The second finger is shown outward in the current direction, the thumb is stretched upwards. As the thumb shows the force direction, the force acted on the conductor is upwards. Because of this force, the conductor moves upwards. Let us understand the same with the help of another figure. The field is shown towards right. Place the conductor. Now the cross section of the conductor is shown. Pass the current outwards. If you treat the current by means of an arrow coming out, you will be seeing the tip of the arrow. So the dot indicates the current coming out. Apply the Fleming's left hand rule. Again, first finger in the field direction, the second finger outwards in the current direction. The thumb shows the force direction. Because of this force, the conductor moves upwards. Let us understand the motor principle by finding out the direction of the coil rotation. You are seeing in the figure a single turn armature coil. The ends of the coil are connected to two commutator segments. Two brushes will be sliding over the commutator as the coil rotates. The supply is connected to the brushes. The current force from the supply goes into the coil. This is the direction of the current. In the left coil side, the right coil side current is outward. Apply now the Fleming's left hand rule to the right coil side. Show the first finger in the field direction, the second finger outward in the current direction. The thumb, which shows the force, is stretched upward. So the force acted on the right coil side is upwards. Apply the Fleming's left hand rule to the left side conductor. It moves downwards. As the right coil side is going up, left coil side is coming down. The coil rotates anti-clockwise. Let us know how to reverse the direction of rotation of a motor. You have two magnetic poles, north and south. The magnetic field lines are towards right. You have the armature. Armature current is passed from the supply through brush A. The coil currents are shown by arrows. If you apply Fleming's left-hand rule, you will find the coil to rotate anti-clockwise. Now keep the field direction same towards right. The armature current is reversed. You can see the armature current flowing through brush B. Through brush B, the coil currents are shown by arrows. If you apply the Fleming's left-hand rule, you can find the coil rotation reversed. Here, you are seeing the field lines towards right. The armature current is passing through the brush A. For this field direction and armature current direction, the rotation is anti-clockwise. Now reverse the field direction. The field is towards left, but keep the armature current same through brush A. For this, the rotation reverses. In this case, the field lines are towards right. Armature current is passing through brush A. For this field direction and armature current direction, the rotation is anti-clockwise. Now reverse the field direction towards left. reverse the armature current direction also. For this case, the rotation is again anti-clockwise only. That means the direction has not reversed. So when you change the field direction and also the armature current direction, the rotation will be same as before. DC motor rotation can be reversed by reversing either the field current or the armature current, but not both. We have covered in this lecture the constructional details of DC machines and also the working principles of DC generator and DC motor.